Testing.
Testing.
Okay, Most High Christ is broadcasting the right way. Okay, Most High Christ. Hey, Shalom, sir. Yabashim Ashabrakatah. The water. Hey, if you could, sir, share this. Baba Kasha. There's about to be some cold history right here. Let a couple people get in here. Make sure y'all like and share. Baba Kasha. Hey, Shalom, sis. Y'all Shamal Tabashim El Shah. Give me a second, Israel. I'm going to get into it. Hey, Shalom, sir. Y'all Bashim El Shah Brakatah. The water for tapping in, Kasor, sir. Most High Christ. I got my people with me. Most High Christ, my Lord. Oh, yeah, we finna get it in tonight. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, sir. The Raiders, you hear me, sir? It's the same thing, sir. A Raider is the same thing as a 49er, sir. You might as well just say to hell with football. The Patriots, the Chargers, ooh, wee. Yeah. Damn it, man. Damn. Salaki. I'm gonna let a couple more people get in here, man. Then we gonna get it started. The Redskins. Well, no. Hey, they changed the Redskins name, sir. They changed the Redskins name. Said before the change, they tried to clean. Yeah, kind, sir, for sure. Let me see. Salakia. Hey, not the Zach. How about Shemal Shah Brakatah, sir? The water for tapping in. All right, let's get into it. Yahba Shemal Shah Brakatah to the brothers. Yahweh Shemal Thun by Shemal Shah to the sisters. I'm Priest Officer Karan Yala, the ISUBK under Commanding General Yana, and welcome to another installment of Criminals of the Caucasus. You understand? Of course, you can tell by the title what this series is about. I want to start off by saying the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And if you didn't know from all of the previous episodes, you damn sure gonna know it tonight. You understand? So we're gonna go over the gold rush, California gold rush of 1849. As a matter of fact, I want to get a most high hand, you understand, for them fires down there in Southern California. You understand? Big shout out to Officer Malakma, you understand, that showed tremendous brotherhood, you understand, by being at our big brother Lahab, you understand, Officer 5000 Lahab, aid, you understand, when it seemed like it was gonna get rough for our big brother, you understand. So big shout out to both of them brothers, you understand, and big shout out to the Northern Kingdom, you understand. Gad, Slagia, Manasseh, you understand, Ephraim, so forth and so on, Issachar, you understand. But without further ado, let's get into it, you understand. So a lot of people don't understand the history of the gold rush in California. When they teach us about the gold rush in school, we're taught that the settlers came over here, you understand, because it was gold found in the land, and they just came over here and just paying for gold, searching for riches, when that's just a piece of it. You understand? That's the nice version of it. You understand? We're gonna get into the real history of it. Salakia. Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen real quick. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. My big brother Kassar, he know I ain't too computer savvy, but you understand. I know a little something. Now, let's talk about, you understand, the Bloody Island Massacre, right? Now, a lot of people don't understand, you understand, the history, and you probably never even heard of the Bloody Island Massacre, right? So this is just a quick Wikipedia search, right? It says the Bloody Island Massacre was a mass killing of indigenous Californians Californians, Salakia, by the U.S. military that occurred what was then an island in Clear Lake, California, on May 15th, 1850. It is part of the wider California genocide, right? Now, they'll teach you about the gold rush in school, right? But they're not going to tell you about the Bloody Island massacre, right? And just a quick sidebar, right? The how this came across my desk was, of course, every Sunday, if you know me, I'm looking for a different devil to teach a class on. You understand? So I'm just flipping through YouTube, and a young sister and her mother from this tribe that we're going to read about, you understand? It came across my feed, and they explained the history of what happened with their ancestors from they didn't Google this, or this didn't come from a Wikipedia search from them. This was oral history passed down from grandfather to grandfather, grandmother to grandmother. You know, I mean, Salaki, grandmother to daughter, so forth and so on, right? It says a number of the Pomo and indigenous people of California have been enslaved by two settlers. Now, remember these two names, Andrew Kelsey and Charles Stone, and confined to one village where they were starved and abused until they rebelled and murdered their captors. Now, of course, they wasn't murdered. They was rightfully killed. You understand? In response, the U.S. Cavalry killed at least 60 of the local Pomo people. In July 1850, a report by Major Edwin Allen Sherman contended that there were not less than 400 warriors killed and drowned at Clear Lake, and as many more of squaws, Salagia, and children who plunged into the lake and drowned through fear, committing suicide. So in all, about 800 Native Americans found a watery grave in Clear Lake. Now, 800 natives was drowned in Clear Lake. That's a lie. You understand? It was far more than that. You understand? But this is just a Wikipedia search. I'm gonna give y'all a different article. You understand? In a second. I just wanna warm y'all up to what actually happened, right? It says the Bloody Island Massacre, also called the Clear Lake Massacre, occurred on what was then an island called in the Pomo language Bono Poti, or Badai Napati Island Village, at the north end of Clear Lake County, California, on May 15th, 1850. It was a place where the Pomo had traditionally gathered for the spring fish spawn. After this event, it became known as Bloody Island. The lake has since receded, so that Bloody Island is now a hilltop north of the body of water. All right. A number of Wapo and Pomo, primarily living in the Big Valley area, have been enslaved, interned, and severely abused by settlers Andrew Kelsey, namesake of Kelsey Creek in Kelseyville, California. They named a creek after this devil and a city after this devil, right? And Charles Stone, Kelsey and Stone purchased cattle running free and grazing rights in Big Valley from Salvatore Vallejo in 1847. Now, of course, this is another devil that the city of Vallejo is named after, right? They captured and impressed local Indians to work as vaqueros. Let me look that word up real quick. Okay, these was herdsmen, cowboys, you understand? Which is our ancient tradition of our line of work. You can read about that in Genesis, the 47th chapter. You understand? They also forced them to build them permanent shelter with promises for rations that were not kept. The white man is the devil. You understand? They enslaved these natives, you understand, and made them build them permanent shelter, you understand, with promises for rations, which is food that was not kept. So they came to California, smashed on the natives, you understand, and then made them build them shelter, right, for food, which they did not give them. Because they made a residence there, their treatment of the Pomo was more brutal than had been Vallejo's. Now, Vallejo, he was brutal too, but they was way more brutal than him. Though the massacred Pomos at Anderson Island might have argued that point. Of course, they would have argued that point. They would have been like, look, all them devils was evil as hell to us. You understand? See, when you look at you got to comb through the lies of the oppressor. You understand? They'll sit up here and tell you right here on Wikipedia that, okay, these two, they was far more worse than this dude Vallejo. But the natives, they would argue that, meaning they was all equally terrible to the natives. You understand? Barakatah Yahweh Shah for burning down Hollywood. You understand? Where the descendants of these goddamn devils dwell at today, right? Because white America, Hollywood, the American public in general might have forgotten what happened to these natives, but the Most High didn't. Barakatah Yahweh Shah. The people were eventually confined to a village surrounded by a stockade and were not allowed weapons or fishing implements. Now, hold on. Right? This is so biblical, right? This is so biblical. I just want to pull a script real quick. Salakia. They didn't allow them weapons, right? 1 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 19. And it reads, it says, now there was no smith found throughout all the land of Israel, for the Philistines said, lest the Hebrew make them swords or spears. When we was in captivity to the Philistines, which is an African tribe, they did not allow us to have weapons because they knew we would make us swords and spears to defend ourselves against oppression. Well, that's what these goddamn devils did in California, you understand, to the so-called natives. You can't tell me these ain't God's chosen people. The same thing that we're subjugated to right here in the Americas, it happened to us in the Bible verbatim. You understand? The exact same way, right? It says, Salakia. Families starved on meager rations. They provided only 4 cups of wheat a day for a family. The oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. When one young man asked for more wheat for his sick mother, stone reportedly killed him. Come on, man. This young brother was trying to feed his mother because she was sick and asked for a little bit more wheat, which they only gave 4 cups of wheat to a goddamn family. This is the same thing as being in prison today. You understand? If you don't got nobody that love you on the outs to where you can buy commissary, you understand, for your time in prison, you're gonna survive off of rations. You understand? That's exactly what they give you in jails and in prisons. You understand? It's not enough to even feed you. But back then, they gave a whole family 4 cups of flour. Like 4 cups of flour won't even feed a man, a woman, and 3 children a day. You understand? This dude, Charles Stone, killed anybody who asked for extra food. He didn't give a damn if your mama was sick and she needed it. Like, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. In the fall of 1849, Kelsey forced 50 Pomo men to work as laborers on the second gold-seeking expedition to the Placer gold fields. Kelsey became ill with malaria and sold the rations to other miners. The Pomo starved, and only one of 2 men returned alive. Come on, man. 1 or 2 men returned. The white man is the devil. Stone and Kelsey regularly forced the Pomo parents to bring their daughters to them to be sexually abused. If they refused, they were whipped mercilessly, Salakia. A number of them died from that abuse. Both men indentured and abused the Pomo women. The starving Pomo became so desperate that Suck or Exes took Stone's horse to kill a cow, but the weather was bad and the horse ran off. Knowing they would be punished, Chief, Augustine's wife, poured water onto the two men's gunpowder, rendering it useless. Pomo warriors attacked the house at dawn, immediately killing Kelsey with an arrow. Barakatah Yahweh Yahushua, you understand? Stone jumped out of a window and tried to hide in the stand of willow trees, but Augustine found him and killed him with a rock. The Pomo men took food back to their families, and everyone left to join other relatives around the lake. Some went to Bandon, Napati, where the spring fish spawn was underway. Now, of course, these natives was killed because of these acts. You understand? Now, I got a quick sidebar for you so-called African Americans. You understand? From the tribe of Judah. You understand that don't think that the natives are the same people as you. What I just read to you was a goddamn slave revolt. You understand? In the 1850s. You understand? They went through the exact same thing as you so-called Negroes. You understand? Understand this. Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, we are the same goddamn family. We was brought into this captivity together, and we gonna leave out of this captivity together. If you a nigga from California, and when I say nigga, I mean the tribe of Judah, you understand? Or so-called African American. If you are from California, you better embrace your brotherhood, you understand? Embrace the so-called Native American Indians. Embrace the so-called Mexicans, you understand? Which is the tribe of Issachar, and the Native American Indians, the tribe of Gad. Embrace your brothers, you understand? And as a matter of fact, not only do you need to embrace them, but you need to have compassion on them. Like Nadazar brought out earlier, yesterday at camp. You understand? You're not from California. You niggas is from Mississippi, Arkansas. You understand? Louisiana, Alabama. You understand? Florida, Texas. That's where you came from. Embrace your brothers out here on this West Coast. Patronize all of their businesses. The next time you see a Mexican brother walking past you, you need to tell him thank you for your hospitality, right? Because this is the land of the natives. This is the land of the so-called Mexicans. You understand? You should eat a burrito from any one of these burrito trucks at least once a week. You understand? You need to be kind to these people. Don't be sitting back just talking about, oh, the white man did us bad in slavery and they owe us reparations. They owe them reparations too. As a matter of fact, they did it to them before they did it to you. You understand? Salakia for being long-winded. On May 5th, 1850, a contingent from the 1st Dragons Regiment of the United States Cavalry under Nathaniel Lyon, then still a lieutenant, and Lieutenant J.W. Davidson, tried to locate Augustine's band to punish them. They was out for revenge because these brothers, you understand, revolted against the oppression that these Caucasian men bestowed on their whole family, right? When they instead came upon a group of Pomo on Badon Napati, later called Bloody Island, they killed old men, women, and children. They killed old men, women, and children. Hold on. I got to go to the scripts again. Because this is biblical too. Your oppressor is a coward. You understand? Deuteronomy 25 and 18. And it reads, I'm going to start at verse 17. Remember that Amalek did what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou was faint and weary, and feared not God. You understand? In the Bible, the tribe of Amalek, which is the so-called Jewish man, him being a goddamn coward, he did the same thing that these Caucasians did right here in America. You understand? He smit the hindmost part, like the ones that was in the back that was feeble. You understand? Which is old men, women, and children. People that can't defend themselves. Your oppressor does not want a fair fight. He's a goddamn coward. You understand? But that's what they did right here on May 15th, 1850. You understand? The same spirit has been on this devil from the beginning of time, right? Salakia. Nazamana, Yabashim Abaslaki, Yawashamal Lataba Shim Al Shah says the water for tapping in. Salakia. The soldiers under Davison's command arrived with orders to proceed against the Clear Lake Indians and exterminate, if possible, the tribe. The National Park Service has estimated the Army killed 60 of 400 Pomo. Other accounts say they say 200 were killed. Most of the younger men were off in the mountains to the north hunting. Some of the dead were relatives of the Habim Pomo of Upper Lake, and Robinson Rancheria of Pomo Indians of California. The Army killed 75 more of the Pomo along the Russian River. One of the Pomo survivors of the massacre was a 6-year-old girl named Nika, or Lucy Moore. She hid underwater and breathed through a tool reed. Her descendants formed the Lucy Moore Foundation to work for better relations between the Pomo and other residents of California. A 6-year-old girl, you understand? Her family was massacred by these goddamn devils. You understand? This is evil as hell. Salakia. It said she hid underwater and breathed through a tool reed. Come on, man. How evil is the oppressor? Later, the Pomo was forced to live in small rancherias set aside by the federal government. That small rancheria, you understand, is a reservation. You understand? The reason why Native Americans live on reservations today is because Caucasians slaughtered their goddamn families and pushed them into a small quarters, you understand, to where they can monitor their every movement. The white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. For most of the 20th century, the Pomo reduced in number, survived on such tiny reservations in poverty. Few textbooks of California history mention the Bloody Island incident or abuse of the native Californians. Two separate historical markers record the site. The one placed by the native sons of the Golden West on 20 May 1942 on Reclamation Road, 0.3 miles off Highway 20, described the location as the scene of a battle between U.S. soldiers under Captain Lyons and Indians under Chief Augustine. Man, Barakatai Hawaii shot for Chief Augustine. You understand? He was no coward. California Historical Landmark number 427, describing the location as the scene of a massacre, mostly of women and children. You are a goddamn coward, white man. Was placed on Highway 20 at the Reclamation Road intersection on 15 May 2005 by the State Department of Parks and Recreation in cooperation with Lucy Moore Foundation, a nonprofit organization founded to educate the California public about the massacre. But yet, we've never heard about this at school. You understand? I lived in California my whole goddamn life. You understand? In a few different cities, might I add. You understand? I've never heard about this in school. It took for the Lord, you understand, to put the spirit on me to look for these type of things for it to come across my YouTube feed. So, Lakia, a 2015 article in Genocide Studies and Prevention analyzed how this plaque reflects on the massacre and its remembrance by both native and colonial people. Come on, man. Caucasian man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right? Now, hold on. Right. Damn right. You ain't never heard about this, sir. You understand? Now, Salakia. Let me share my screen to present y'all another article. Or an article, because that was Wikipedia, Salakia. This is an article from the this is an article on PBS or KQED. PBS. I ain't never heard about this watching PBS as a kid. You understand? Act for the Government and Protection of Native Indians or Indians, right? This was a bill passed by California, right? Laws against Native Americans. In 1850, the California legislature passed an act for the government and protection of Indians that essentially forced many Native Americans into servitude. Servitude is a nice word that means slavery. Salakia. Salakia. You didn't get on that. The law provided for the forced labor of loitering or orphaned Native Americans, regulated their employment, and defined a special class of Indian crimes with punishments. Now, remember, I'm going to read that again. The law provided for the forced labor of loitering or orphaned Native Americans, right? So this law allowed for forced labor of Native Americans who was just out and about in their own land, mind you, and orphaned Native Americans. Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, right? But I do know the history of America. How does a Native American become a goddamn orphan in 1850? Anybody want to answer that question for me? How do a Native American become an orphan in 1850? Yabashim al-Shabakatad, the water for tapping in. The name of the law sounds benign. I believe the word benign means Salakia. I knew what the word meant. Let me look it up again. Benign means kind, you understand, or good-natured, warm, affectionate, friendly, right? The name of the law, it sounds like something good for the natives. Let's read the name of the law again. The Act for the Government and Protection of Native Americans or Native Indians. This sounds like a good law. It sounds like California or the U.S. government is set out to protect the natives, right? But the effect was malign in extreme degree, right? It was malign it was evil. You understand, Salakia? It was harmful. It was evil. It was bad. You understand? It was hostile. It was vicious. These are some synonyms for what the word malign means, right? In the extreme degree. Any white person under this law could declare Indians who were simply strolling about, minding their goddamn business. This is stop and frisk. In 1850, you dumb niggas think stop and frisk started with you? You Judites? Now it pissed me off to understand how bad, you understand, so-called African Americans hate the natives and the Mexicans. You wasn't getting stopped and frisked then. They was doing this to the natives. You understand? Any white person under this law could declare Indians who were simply strolling about, who were not gainfully employed to be vagrants, right? And take that charge before a justice, Salakia, before a justice of the peace, and a justice of the peace would then have those Indians seized and sold at public auction. And the person who bought them would have their labor for 4 months without compensation. So a white man used to be able to just walk about, see a so-called Native American and be like, hey, this nigga ain't doing nothing. He's unemployed, and bring it to the courts. And the courts would then seize this native, you understand? And essentially make him a slave for the rest of his goddamn life. And the person that told on him, he was able to get free labor off to the slave for 4 months. And the person who bought them would have their labor for Salakia. And the person who bought them would have their labor for 4 months without compensation. Oh, Salakia. So the person that bought them would get labor off of them for 4 months without compensation. Meaning, if he paid for this native, he would be able to enslave him for 4 months without even paying him any money or without giving him any goddamn food. In the early days of the gold rush, from the very beginning, frustrated Anglo-American miners banded together to form groups of essentially vigilante or volunteer militia groups. These Anglo-Americans, these is white boys. You understand? They was frustrated. It says that they banded together to form essentially vigilante or volunteer militia groups. They wreaked havoc on the natives. You understand? They were ad hoc organizations, and their stated objective was to exterminate the Red Devils, to eliminate the obstacles that the native Californians had become in their minds. They became an obstacle in their goddamn minds. These natives wasn't doing nothing to these white boys. But in their mind, oh, we got to get rid of these. We got to get rid of these Indians. They stopping us from obtaining gold. When these are peaceable people, they taught you how to fish. They taught you how to hunt buffaloes. They taught you how to grow corn. They taught you how to be herdsmen. You white boys didn't know none of this. They taught you how to grow vegetables. And their modus operandi, or when it says modus operandi, this was their modem, or this was their MO. You understand? That's what the term MO comes from. Like this is their characteristic. Like this is what you do. You feel me? Was to attack native villages wherever they might find them in the vicinity of their mining activities, to eliminate their presence utterly, killing the men, the women, and children. And this was considered to be a necessity. The only way we'll be able to mine in security if all these people are exterminated. And the language that they used at that time, extermination, was precisely describing what they were attempting to do. They said amongst each other, we have to exterminate these people. You ever had a rodent problem in your house? You call a roto-rooter. He's an exterminator. He comes to kill all the roaches, kill all of the rats. Well, this is what white people thought about the natives. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh for Southern California being on fucking fire right now. You understand? The Native Americans in California, of course, attempted to resist the onslaughts onto their villages. They fought back with whatever weapons they had at hand, but they were vastly outgunned and vastly outnumbered, and were very infrequently able to mount an effective defense. They decimated these brothers and sisters. You understand? Imagine you got a people, you understand, that come to your country, right? And they got guns that can shoot you from a distance. They got cannons. You understand? They like, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? They got so many war engines, you understand, that the Native American Indians had no defense on. Because we are peaceable people. You understand? Salakia. Big shout out to Captain Saga War, you understand, who was a Gadite, right? Big shout out to Officer 5000 Tabawan, you understand, who was another Gadite, you understand? Big shout out to my brother Shalimar, Officer 1000, you understand, who was another Gadite, you understand? And these brothers, Officer Tabawan and Shalimar, these are California Gadites. You understand? Big shout out to them brothers. Big shout out to the tribe of Gad in the Northern Kingdom once again. You understand? I commend y'all for being so courageous. You understand? For not being cowards, for standing up for your tribes. You understand? And I teach these classes, you understand, in solidarity with my brothers, because The Caucasian man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, and the Lord will wreak his vengeance on all of these atrocities that you did to my brothers from the northern kingdom, to my sisters from the northern kingdom, for our children of the northern kingdom. Oh, it gets worse, Salakia. Usually it was a matter of fleeing, trying to get away. We have accounts of the white vigilantes or rangers simply firing into the creek or going into the woods and using hatchets or other weapons, guns, to kill those. We have many descriptions of those when they're attacking on a stream or a river, and the natives are being shot as they're flowing down, trying to escape from this terrible onslaught. But we should also remember that those bands of Indian hunters could receive local compensation for their actions. Hold on. They had bounties on these brothers. You understand? For them killing the tribe of Gad, you understand, in California, they received compensation, right? Many communities through Gold Rush, California, offered bounties for Indian heads, Indian scalps, or Indian ears. And so the Indian Raiders, you understand? Kasar Bakai, sir. They go to Raiders right there, my lord. You understand? The 49ers, the namesake of the San Francisco 49ers football team and the Raiders, you understand? Right here in Northern California. This is not a goddamn coincidence, right? Your oppressor named these football teams after they forefathers who was goddamn devils, you understand? Because they relish at the fact that they slaughtered the Native American Indians, right? And so the Indian Raiders could bring the evidence of their kill in and receive direct local compensation. Furthermore, the state of California passed legislation authorizing more than $1 million for the reimbursement of additional expenses that the Indian hunters may have incurred. Now, let me give y'all a quick sidebar, right? The state of California paid $1.6 million, you understand, for weapons to provide to these vigilantes and militia groups. And mind you, these are volunteer militia groups. You understand? $1.6 million in 1850 is about $200 million today. Evil. You understand? And then, Salakia, and then that was passed on eventually to the federal Congress. Well, Congress passed legislation also authorizing additional federal funds for this purpose. Not only did California do it, the U.S. government did it. So what we have here in California during the gold rush, quite clearly, was a case of genocide, mass murder that was legalized and publicly subsidized. There was a person up in Humboldt County who was found with a small child, a young Indian child, and they asked him, "What are you doing with this child?" He said, "I am protecting him. He is an orphan." Listen to this evil shit right here. And they say, well, how do you know he's an orphan? He said, "I killed his parents." And you, like, we don't know what the hell he was doing with this young child. You understand? Like, the white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. This dude said, "I'm protecting his child. He an orphan." They like, "How you know he an orphan?" "Because I killed his parents." That's what white people do. By the time the gold rush and events afterward had occurred, so much had happened. Not just Southern enslavement and terrorizing the native peoples, but an epidemic had erupted previous to this. Smallpox, chickenpox, unusual diseases that they had no defenses. So their population had been decimated. Then it became decimated again after the gold rush because of their aboriginal rights as landowners. They needed to be eradicated and removed. So a process went into motion to make it legal to kill Indian people. I'm going to just keep reading, Salakia. And at one point, it was something in the neighborhood of $25 for a male body part, whether it was a scalp, a hand, or the whole body. And then $5 for a child or a woman part. In many cases, they had to bring in the scalp. And in other cases, the whole body was brought in to prove that they had this individual. They killed this person and received their reward. And it was well after 1900 when the law was repealed. That bounty hunting, or whatever you may want to call it, on the California Indians was repealed. It was shortly after the discovery of Ishi that the nation, or I should say the state, became aware of the fact that it was still legal to kill Indians, so that the law had to be changed. Well after 1900, it was legal to kill Indians. The U.S. policies of removal of native people as European pioneer further west was bound to the tragic cry of extermination as the settlements reached the West Coast. Sanctuary of sort was provided through reservations, which gave the natives refuge from the threats of the new invaders. However, the conditions at the reservations were less than satisfactory. So they put them on these reservations to quote unquote protect them. But they lived in utter poverty. You understand? They lived in the worst conditions known to man, right? There was what was called a roundup. It's a very sad story. They went along the foothill areas, especially above Sacramento and all along the ridge, gathered up all these native peoples, mostly the Maydu people, and forcing them to march down the valley over the Sutter Butte. But first, they had to cross the Sacramento River. And very few Indian people knew how to swim because they had no need to swim. They didn't take those chances by crossing rivers. If they knew how, they would do it in reed boats. But they were forced to cross the river. So there was a large percentage of these Maydu people who actually drowned, including children and infants. And then whoever survived the crossing of the Sacramento River were taken over to the Round Valley Reservation and forced to live there. Those that escaped hid, and they stayed hidden for quite some time. They took on Hispanic or Mexican surnames and melted into the community not as natives, but as Mexican Americans. They could pass. They'd say, Salakia, they'd just say they were, and most people didn't pay attention and believe them. Hold on, man. I got to read that again. They took on Hispanic or Mexican surnames and melted into the community not as natives, but as Mexican Americans. They could pass. They just say they were, and most people didn't pay attention and believe them. Come on, man. A lot of Ishikarites or a lot of people that's claiming to be Mexicans, you understand? They're actually Native Americans because they wanted to get away from being slaughtered by you goddamn devils. And it's crazy, right? Because in California, just a quick sidebar, right? It's a big gang culture out here in California, right? Now, if you happen to rub shoulders, you understand, with a Mexican, you understand, that has gang ties to being a Norte, you understand, if you've been to a jail or prison, you understand, and you sat back and chop it up with an OG Norte, right? They will tell you, you understand, that they still speak a native tongue, you understand, or a Native American tongue, you understand, they still know this language, you understand. And when you dig deep into it, you'll find out that this is a language that's a derivative of Hebrew. But a lot of the brothers that's have gang ties to being Nortes, that's OGs, they still know that native tongue to this day. You understand? And it makes perfect sense because they're not even Mexicans for real, for real. They're natives. You understand? Which, of course, we know Mexicans and natives, us being in the truth, are the same people, just different tribes. But you got a lot of brothers that's claiming to be Mexicans that are actually North American Indians. I had the occasion, this is James Rawls, a historian. I had the occasion of visiting with an elderly Pomo woman several years ago who shared with me a story from her family history. She said her village was attacked somewhere along the Navajo River by a group of white raiders. There go that name Raider again. She thought perhaps they were trying to seize children for the Indian slave trade at that time. She wasn't sure, but she knew that they were under attack. Once again, you so-called Negroes, you understand? You so-called African Americans from the tribe of Judah. The so-called Mexicans and Native Americans, they have a slave trade just like you. You understand? Same exact thing happened. And so a Native woman fled with her family, trying to get her children away. She left her smallest child, which was still in a cradle board under some brush, and got away across the river. And the whites had left. So like after the whites had left, she returned trying to find her family, and she could not see. And she could see that her smallest child was still apparently safely there under the brush. But when she lifted it up, she found that the child had been pinned to the earth with a knife. Come on, man. That the raiders apparently had regarded that the child as too small to worry with, but they managed to kill the child instead. This sister left her child in hopes of fleeing, being killed by these white people, came back, thought she would find her child intact. And these goddamn devils stabbed her child and pinned it. You understand? It's a Salaki. Pinned the child to the earth with a knife. Now, you got to be an evil, sick bastard to kill a goddamn infant. And as the woman told me that story, the tears came down her cheeks as if this had just happened. And that made me realize that even though these events we're talking about occurred 150 years or more ago, they still are living memories of Native people of California. They are wounds that are still unhealed and are very tender and very deep. Right? Because like nothing can make us forget about these atrocities that was committed against us. Right? The gold rush forced people out of their traditional regions, and it made some of the rules and laws of the new state, the white state, and these rules and laws made the Indians change. People would say, well, you know, what we're going to do is we're going to give you these sanctuary areas, and we're going to give you food in that, and we're going to provide things for you that you didn't have before. What the I'm down there about to stop reading this article. Things that they didn't have before. Buffalo used to roam freely in this land. They had their own villages. They didn't need you Caucasians. They didn't need you at all. Like when they say Christopher Columbus discovered America, like, you know how evil it is to say that? They didn't need these goddamn settlers. They didn't die to the tune of 100 million. Yeah, they gave us something that we didn't have before. They gave us death. They gave us destruction. They gave us genocide. They gave us diseases. You understand? The white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. And all of that sounds good to me, but in fact, what happened is when people were on reservations, for instance, the food that was supposed to go to them and the cattle that was supposed to be herded to them and things that were supposed to be provided to them were never done. What you can sense is that there is a sanctuary that is provided for them, even though they might be eating out of troughs, even though they might be overworked, they have some sense of security there. And we see this taking place as we look at some of the things that happen with statehood. And we also see that in many cases where the people were given this sanctuary, they are protected from some kind of killings and hunting down and herding off people to imprison them in the reservation areas. We see that they do have a protection there. It's a goddamn lie. So like, I can't read no more of this bullshit. That's devastating. You understand? Hey, Shalom, Yabashim Al Shabrakata. Hey, how you holding up out there? I pray the Lord, you understand, gave you a spirit of what's the word I'm looking for? I pray that the Lord is giving you a spirit of encouragement, you understand, in order to combat, right, the recent loss, you understand, of one of your friends, young brother, right? Your mother told me what happened, you understand, with the sister that passed due to that goddamn terrorist down there in New Orleans. I want to say my deepest condolences, young brother, and you hang in there, you understand? You work on getting that Hebrew name, Most High Christ. You work on getting that Hebrew name, you understand? That way you can come into this thing, be an officer, and do something in order to stand up for your people, young brother. But my deepest condolences, you understand? And I pray that the Lord is with you in spirit, and no young brother should have to go through that, let alone the young sister that lost her life. You understand? But Salakia. Okay. I'm going to present my screen one more time. Now we going over the history of California, you understand, in the gold rush, right? And this devil, right, that we about to read about, Peter Hardeman Burnett. This was the first governor of California. You understand? Peter Hardeman Burnett. Salagi. It says white Salagi, gold chains, a hidden history of slavery in California. White supremacists in chief. Peter Hardeman Burnett, the first elected governor Salagia of California, 1849 to 1851, and one of the founders of Sacramento, was a former slaveholder from Tennessee with a burning passion to create a whites-only American West. This damn devil was a slave owner in Tennessee. And he had a burning passion, you understand, to create a whites-only West. In 1843, Burnett led a wagon trail to Oregon. He was elected to the legislature, where he took the lead in passing a law that excluded African Americans from the state. Damn, I didn't know that. I didn't know that niggas was never allowed here, right? The law allowed whites to keep slaves for 3 years, after which they would be freed and required to leave. Oh, shit. Salakia. So so-called African Americans could come here. But after you was freed from slavery, you had to get the hell out of here. Any black person who refused to leave would be whipped, earning it the nickname of Peter Hardeman, Burnett's Lash Law. It was rescinded, though other black exclusionary laws were later passed. In 1848, Burnett followed tales of gold to California, where he befriended John Sutter Jr. and helped him found Sacramento. Burnett was later elected governor of California. He tried again to pass laws banning black people from the state, but was unsuccessful. Burnett also helped fuel the enslavement and genocide of California's indigenous people. The reason why they allowed him to be elected governor, because he was one of the top devils that slaughtered the Pomo Indian tribe, that slaughtered the natives of California, right? He signed the perversely named Act for the government of protection, for the government and protection of Indians. That's what I was just reading to y'all. He signed that. You understand? This devil right here is the reason for that law being passed. This law enabled whites to force native people from their lands into indentured servitude. While Burnett was government, U.S. cavalry troops slaughtered native Californians, including Pomo tribal members in the Bloody Island Massacre. I just was reading y'all this article. You know how the Bible tell you precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little? You understand? Now, of course, these are just articles. This is not Bible verses. But in the spirit of breaking down the Bible, I'm breaking down history with article upon article, Wikipedia search upon Wikipedia search. You understand? And it's saying the exact same thing. Says Burnett later became a Supreme Court justice and was sitting on the bench that ordered that fugitive slave Archie Lee be returned to his enslaver. Hold on, man. This dude sat on a California Supreme Court justice, right? And he ordered that a slave be returned back to his slave master in violation of California's Constitution. So he went against the Constitution of California. While Burnett's vision of an exclusively white West was extreme, it fit within broader white supremacist policies at the time, or of the time. Because, yeah, it was extreme, but this is what white people wanted for America. This is how they get down. This is their MO. From speech as governor, this is what he said. This is from a speech that he says as a governor, that a war of extermination will continue to be waged between the races until the Indian race becomes extinct. Until the Indian race becomes extinct must be expected. While we cannot anticipate the result, but with painful regret, the inevitable destiny of the race is beyond the power or wisdom of man to avert. This dude wanted to unalive, you understand, all natives. Hey, sis. Come on, sis. You know something. My sister Nazamana said, Salakia, sir, and they wonder why California burning. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah for the Most High you understand, wreaking havoc on these goddamn devils. Because that's exactly why it's burning, sis. You understand? These devils always hated us. You're right, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely, my lord. Oh, Salakia. What else? Let's go to the scripts. Let's go to the scripts. Nazamana, I got one for you. I got one for you, sis. Salakia, y'all bear with me. Let me run through these notes real quick. We'll go to Revelations chapter 16 and verse 8. Big shout out to Officer Tabawan, you understand? Who is a California Indian. You understand? He pulled this precept a couple days ago. And might I add, Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh, right? I was supposed to do this class last week on Sunday, right? California wasn't on fire then, but I was having technical difficulty, you understand, with producing this class. This was the exact will of the Most High God. You understand? The Lord was like, hold on, I got something in store for you, I got something in store for you, son. You understand? You're going to hold off until I set California ablaze, and then you tell them about what happened with the natives. You understand? Salakia. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 16 and verse 9. And men were scorched with great heat. They said it was about 15 people that died, you understand, with these California wildfires. Now, Yaragabar, correct me if I'm wrong, sir. People don't usually die. You understand? Salakia. And for people who don't believe Amalek is Esau, Genesis, for sure. But people don't usually die from these California wildfires. You understand? We get wildfires annually, every year, like around the fall. You understand? Like, you know, we gotta in California, it tends to get hot, like around, like, of course, we got a regular summer, but we have something called the Indian summer. That's crazy. That's crazy. I never put two and two together. You understand? Late summer is called the Indian summer. That's crazy. But this is where it tends to like heat up. You understand? And really get hot. And this is where these wildfires start to be set ablaze. That's the Most High doing this. I'm going to read that again. Revelation 16, Salaki, start at verse 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. That's what happened, Hollywood. That's what happened, Hollywood. That fourth angel poured out his vial to scorch you goddamn devils with fire. Not only are you the descendants of these damn devils, these crackers, you understand, that slaughtered my brothers and sisters from the tribe of Gad right here in California, you understand? But you got the second largest pedophilia ring in the world, Hollywood, right up under the Roman Catholic Church. The Lord ain't forgot what you did to his children. Understand? I'm going to read that again. Revelation 6 and 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire. That's what you see in Southern California. Next verse. And when men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of God, how did they blaspheme the name of God? By telling you it's okay to be a sodomite, by telling you that God loves everybody, by putting in God we trust on money that has slave owners' faces on there, and they build up the wealth in this empire for doing abominable atrocities against the children of Israel. That's how you blaspheme the name of God. You understand? You goddamn devils deserve everything that comes to you. They decimated Hollywood. How many South Central homes burned down? None. Barakatahi Hawaii Awashai. The Rolling 60s Crips still live in their neighborhood right now. You understand? The brothers and sisters from the Nickerson Gardens, right? The Imperial Courts. It ain't nothing burned down over there. Tam's Burgers is still alive and well. You understand? What's the burger shop by the Nickerson Gardens? It's still alive and well. You understand? The Hoovers, their neighborhood is still intact. You know why? Because the Lord loves niggas. You understand? East LA is still intact. And then I'm gonna go in on that in a second. Salakia. We gonna talk about the Northern Kingdom. You understand? Salakia. Revelation 16 and 9. And when men were scorched with great heat and blasphemed the name of God, which have power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. Yeah. The Lord is punishing you goddamn devils because you didn't repent for slaughtering the children of Israel. You didn't repent for Bloody Island. You didn't repent for the gold rush. You didn't repent that you relished in the fact that your ancestors slaughtered our brothers and sisters, and now they commemorate an abominable atrocity. You understand? And keep it alive by calling a damn football team the 49ers and the Raiders right here in Northern California, where they slaughtered our people. That's why the Lord is dealing with you, Esau. You understand? Salakia. You got our brothers and sisters. And then look, Donald Trump, you so much of a devil, right? A third of the people that are fighting these fires are in a program called Fire Camp. Now, if you're not familiar with what Fire Camp is a program that can knock off months and possibly years off of your sentence when you go to prison out here in California, if you're eligible for Fire Camp. I think it's anybody that has 5 years and under, you're eligible for Fire Camp. Well, a third of those people that's fighting fires are inmates in the California prison system, you understand, a program known as Fire Camp. And don't let me forget about the so-called Mexicans that came to go assist these goddamn devils with putting out these fires. Salakia. Give me 1 second, Israel. Give me 1 second. We're going to go to Genesis 41 and 55. See, your oppressor, he reads the Bible and sees the servitude of the children of Israel, right? But he don't take heed to what happened to these people when you do the children of Israel wrong. This is the book of Genesis chapter 41 and verse 55. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph, what he saith to you, do. Now, if you don't understand who Joseph is the forefather of the so-called Cubans and Puerto Ricans, Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim being a tribe of the Puerto Ricans today, and Manasseh or Manasseh or Ephraim, a Parium in the Hebrew. You understand? These are the forefathers of the so-called Puerto Ricans and Cubans. You understand? The northern kingdom of the nation of Israel, right? Just how Pharaoh told them to go get these so-called savages or spics. That's the same thing, you understand, that happened right here in America. You understand? These brothers and sisters, right, being a righteous people, they helped you goddamn oppressors. You understand? Y'all, we came to y'all aid when you needed us. You understand? And the simple fact that you don't pay homage to the children of Israel for us sustaining you and keeping you alive in this empire, you understand? Because of course, eventually the Egyptians, they forgot about what Joseph did for them too. You understand? And you see what happened to Egypt. You understand? Egypt is a goddamn bathroom right now. You understand? They got our children learning about Egypt, right? Because it's some so-called great superpower. But meanwhile, you know who built up Egypt? So-called Cubans and Puerto Ricans. You understand? They built up Egypt. You understand? They forefather is the reason why Egypt is a great goddamn superpower that they teach our kids about 4,000 years later. You understand? The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. I'm going to read that again. Genesis chapter 41 and verse 55. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, that's what's going on right here in Southern California. You understand? They famished. Grocery stores burned down. They houses burned down. You lost your Lamborghini. You understand? You lost everything that you had in your land. White people, oppressors, because the Egyptians was the oppressors to the children of Israel at this time or later on, but they eventually became to be the oppressors. The people cried to Pharaoh for bread. Ain't that what Hollywood did? Then they cried to Gavin Newsom, Joe Biden. Then they cried to him for help. You understand? And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, go unto Joseph. What he said to you, do. Yeah. Go highlight them Latinos. What he says to you, do. Remember, they wouldn't even eat with Joseph. Joseph went to prison for something that he did not do. They said, nigga, you a shepherd. We ain't eating with you. You an abomination unto us. But eventually, when the going got tough, who they go look for? Joseph. Right here in America, you understand? I think I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this one. Salakia. You understand? Let me see. I got another script. I think I'm going to end it off with another script. Yeah, I'm gonna just continue. I'm gonna do a part 2 to this next week. You understand? That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Right. The water to everybody for tapping in. I appreciate y'all. You understand? My Adawan Kasar Pakad, my Adawan Uraga Bar, my sister Izara, my sister Nazam Ana, you understand? Matam Yad, my young brother, John Wren. My condolences again, you understand? Hey, the water sis, I definitely appreciate you. You understand? Y'all by Shemal Shabraka thumb to the brothers. Y'all was Shamar the thumb by Shemal shot to the sisters. If y'all could do me a favor, man, share this class because this is just a small piece of history. What happened with the native tribes, you understand, in America. But of course, we put the microscope on California due to what's going on out here. You understand? But share this with everybody because a lot of people forget, you understand, the history that happened with the natives and the so-called white man or the oppressor or the devil that the Bible speaks of. You understand? And it's very important for us to remember these atrocious acts that happened to our brothers and sisters of the Northern Kingdom. You understand? For us to understand that we in the same fight with each other. There's no difference. Like the scriptures say, there's neither Jew nor Greek. You understand? And when it says no Jew, neither Jew nor Greek, this ain't talking about, you understand, us coming together with white people. No. You understand? This is talking about no matter what walk of life of the children of Israel that you might be in, you suffered the same atrocities being committed against you by other nations. You understand? Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Salakia, that's what I'm going to leave y'all with. Most High in Christ. That's what I'm going to leave y'all with. I'm going to leave y'all with Zephaniah 2:1. Salakia. On y'all, let me share my screen real quick. That's what I'm gonna leave y'all with. Zephaniah 2:1. You understand? Put it big on the screen too. This is the book of Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. America don't just hate so-called Negroes. America hates Mexicans. America hates Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Guatemalans, Panamanians, Brazilians. You understand? America hates so-called Native American Indians. America hates all of us, brothers and sisters. Don't differentiate yourself from a so-called Mexican if you're a so-called African American right here in California, because these goddamn devils hate all of us. You understand? In the words of Natazab, my big brother, you understand? My Adawan in this truth, right? You don't know how it feels to be black if you ain't us, if you ain't went through slavery, if you ain't passed through the Darien Gap, if you wasn't slaughtered right over here in California, you don't know how I feel to be black. Don't give your love to these Asians, these so-called Arabs, giving them a pass to say nigga, but be looking at Mexicans like they can't say nigga. Mexicans is niggas. Native American Indians are niggas. And you know they niggas because of their track record, because of the history of this people. You understand? Stop differentiating yourself from your brothers and sisters who served out the same slavery as you. You speak English, don't you? Well, the reason why you speak English is the same reason why they speak Spanish. We was just conquered by the same white people that speak different languages. Yahba Hashem Al-Shah brought a thumb to the brothers. Yahweh Shemal a thumb by Hashem Al-Shah to the sisters. Shalom, Israel.